Hey, how's it going? Happy, where are we? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, guys. If you're on here, get those likes up, y'all. Get those likes up. Tag anybody. Share this with someone that you think may find this interesting. I'm going to see if I can keep this one short and sweet. Um, Now, by now, some of you guys may have heard or may not have heard of this viral video, right? Of Senator Tiara Mack, where she basically for the 4th of July, uh, for lack of a better term, decided to do a thirst trap video of her twerking. So I got some receipts, y'all. I figured before I get into it, let me just show you what she did, some of her responses, and then we're going to get right into it. Again, guys, hit the like button. Show support to the show. You can find me on Cash App or Venmo, Shay Sade. So I'm going to pull up what she actually posted on 4th of July. And then let me see, for those of y'all who haven't seen it.
Oh, Senator Mack.
And here it reads.
Oh, Senator Mack.
Okay, so there we have it, y'all. That's the viral video. And then her comment here, it says, a promised Senator thirst trap.
Oh, Senator Mack.
At Block Island, right? So she posted that about 2 days ago. A lot of people have been talking about it ever since then. I want to go into her feedback, and just her comments about some of the different, pushback that she got, because I think it really gives us some indication as to not only how she's thinking, but just a general trend that's just happening today in general. So let's go into just her first response. Let's see right here. It says, set the race back years with this.
This is tacky. This is lazy. What? Baby girl. Baby girl. No, this ain't it. This ain't it.
Let me see if I can pause this.
This is tacky. This is lazy. What? Baby girl. Baby girl. No.
So that's one pushback, basically commenter was like, look, you just set us back. Like, I don't know what you were doing. This is disrespectful. You literally just set us back years. And her response is, no, you're wrong. Like, you're not even thinking deep. You're wrong. This is not that big of a deal. Now let's look at some of the other stuff we got over here.
Honey, baby, this ain't it.
She says, and then in this comment says, I don't ever want to hear you complain about how women aren't respected in this country after posting this. So some other feedback.
Because I have an Ivy League degree and I'm a sitting state senator. It's not about what I'm wearing. It's not about what I'm doing. They won't respect me regardless. Honey, baby, this ain't it. Because I have an Ivy League degree and I'm a sitting state senator. It's not about what I'm wearing. It's not about what I'm doing. They won't respect me regardless.
So there you have it. Somebody's like, literally, you have no right to complain about being disrespected when you go around acting like this. Her response, no, it doesn't matter how I dress. It doesn't matter how I act. It doesn't matter what I wear. It doesn't matter what I do. I'm going to be disrespected regardless. So therefore, my behavior and how I present myself does not matter. Essentially, that's what she said. So let's continue, because I think we're going somewhere with this. Some of her other responses. Okay. There's another one. Can't run on platform. Can't run without getting a black eye.
Platform, baby. I wear them and I pass them. Next. Platform, baby.
Okay, I don't really understand that one as much, but let's go into this one.
Hughes was reelected. It won't get me reelected. And it probably will, because my constituents freaking love that I'm a real person and fun and, not a robot. I believe the word that you meant to use was reelected. It won't get me reelected. And it probably will, because my constituents freaking love that I'm a real person and fun and, not a robot.
Let me see. Y'all, we're getting somewhere. Okay.
Gender, is it the bodacious body? Because the hate is real and abundant. I'm trying to determine which point of envy are these people mad at. Is it the Ivy League degree? Is it the sitting state senator? Is it the bodacious body? Because the hate is real and abundant.
Okay, y'all. So
I'm trying to determine which point of envy are these people mad at. Is it the...
All right. So no, like I said, we're just going through her responses. As we can see, she is really not in any way, shape, or form deterred from her original stance of her twerking, as a state senator in a bikini on 4th of July. She sees nothing wrong with that. Right now, we're going over the different detractors, different people who have something to say. And right now, she remains unmoved. This recent response, basically, she's talking about, all y'all haters are envious. I have an Ivy League degree. I am a senator and I have an amazing body. So you guys basically are just haters. So that's kind of where we're at. Let's continue. Anyways, y'all, if you're on here, hit that like button. Also, show support to the show. You can find me on Cash App or Venmo Shay Sade. Also, super chats are open. I will be sure to acknowledge and read all super chats. So I'm just going over. We started this video by just showing the twerk video that got all of that negative feedback, and now we're just going over her response to her video and why she decided to do it. So, continue. Here's another one. Nobody wants to vote for you.
I don't know why I'm justifying this with a response, but LOL. I literally won my election 60% to 40%. I'm looking to get reelected. Bye. I don't know why. Do y'all really just be coming on the internet without knowing how to do a simple Google search? I'm a state senator, baby girl. The United States got nothing to do with me. She ain't got nothing to do with me. Do y'all really just be coming on the internet without knowing how to do a simple Google search? I'm a state senator, baby girl. The United States got nothing to do with me. She ain't got nothing to do with me.
Okay,
please do not hop on to the internet in 2022 as if the insurrection did not happen. Go talk to an insurrectionist. Go talk to y'all's old president. Don't come to me with this nonsense. Please. Please do not hop on.
Interesting. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Let's think there was one more. Y'all, she had a lot to say about this. she had a lot to say about this, but this is all good. Let me see. So let's see what this is
Some
over
people
here.
have asked, what's that thing on my leg?
Oh no, it's a birthmark. Okay, that's another one. Um,
Down on the beach on my day off. There have been good and there have been bad comments, but the conversation has not shifted towards why my body is a topic of conversation in the news in the first place. A little over 2 weeks ago, the United States Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, which now leaves abortion and the right to abortion up to states to decide. In my previous videos, I have talked about how blue states, including Rhode Island, are not safe, even though many have the perception that we are in the wake of the overturning of Roe v. Wade. The conversations about my body twerking upside down are directly correlated to the conversation that's happening in the United States right now. The crux of the conversation around abortion is about body autonomy. Now that you all have seen me twerking, let's talk a little bit more about body autonomy. There is something really weird and really concerning happening in the United States when it comes to body autonomy, especially when it comes to historically marginalized communities. I'm talking about women, people with uteruses, I'm talking about trans individuals, and I'm talking about intersex youth. As a Black woman, I have always known that my body is not my own. It is always going to be policed, critiqued, and scrutinized. But since the overturning of Roe v. Wade, white women are now starting to wake up to the reality that their bodies may also not be their own. Roe v. Wade has always been the floor when it comes to abortion justice. I say this because many people don't know that their state might be prohibiting low-income Black and brown individuals from accessing abortion through something called the Hyde Amendment. I've talked about Hyde in a previous video, but what people don't realize is that Hyde prevents federal funds from covering abortion, meaning that Medicaid plans are not allowed to use those funds to cover abortion, leaving it up to states to decide if they appropriate those funds. Right now, only 16 states do that. Communities of color have been fighting for abortion justice way before the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and some people are just now waking up to this reality. But these conversations do not happen in isolation. I'll give an example. In my first term as a state senator in 2021, I introduced a bill for comprehensive, queer, inclusive, culturally relevant sexual health education. I also added that it should be pleasure-based because, well, who's not having sex for pleasure? This bill got almost no traction, no attention in the media. It went pretty chill. Fast forward to 2022, there is now a dangerous narrative shaping the United States in the form of targeting LGBTQ plus individuals. That same bill that I introduced in 2021, now in 2022, has the alt-right and GOP calling me a groomer and a pedophile. This is happening on the heels of targeting trans youth in places like Texas, queer youth in places like Florida with the Don't Say Gay bills, and also with much more nefarious and quiet actions to prevent body autonomy for intersex youth, enforcing surgeries on them before they can consent. The alt-right has been strategically using narratives, especially anti-LGBTQ and anti-woman narratives, to create an environment where we are willing to take away the rights of those who we find unworthy. Be they Black, be they poor, be they a woman, be they trans, be them intersex. They are crafting a narrative, and if we are not careful and if we are not organized, we are going to continue to see the rights of marginalized communities slip away. We should be doing.
Okay, so I mean, you get this. Okay, let me see. We're almost there. We are almost there. Let's see.
We are wild. And I'm not talking about everyone's over here twerking upside down. I'm talking our Senate president who's been there for like 37 years was literally arrested for stealing condoms. They call him Rubbers. He's still there. Okay. Did I know that the internet was going to respond this way? It is 2022 and I'm a Black woman. Of course, deep down, not even that deep, I knew that y'all would act this way towards a Black queer woman. Y'all are consistent. But sadly, I've been called worse things on the internet than like me upside down twerking. I introduced a comprehensive, age-appropriate, culturally relevant, pleasure-based sexual health curriculum in Rhode Island in 2021 and in 2022. 2021, that bill got almost no traction. No one really said anything about it. Most people were in support. 2022, that same bill gets a lot more attention and a lot more push. Same bill, different reaction. I was called a pedophile and a groomer by hundreds of thousands of people, and I even received a piece of mail to my home. Y'all gotta treat Black queer women better, please. Did I know that the internet was going to respond this way?
Okay. So there's a lot going on there, but I think y'all kind of got a sense of, where she was at. For those of you guys who just hopped on, please get those likes up. And we were just reviewing this video from Senator Tiara Mack, who recently went viral for twerking on TikTok, upside down in a bikini on 4th of July. And, she got a lot of pushback. She got a lot of people supporting her. She also got a lot of hate. And so we reviewed that video, and then we reviewed that response, or her response to some of her different pushback. Real quick, I do want to acknowledge those who have shown some love and some support. I appreciate you, Jay Bubba, for the $19.99 on the super chat. I appreciate it. I see. The sad thing is it says the sad thing is this is what Democrats think this is all it takes. Twerking like a degenerate, frying catfish nugget, ski-wee and squeak nothing about policy, and we fall for it. Sad. We need to donate to her opponent. I appreciate the support. Thank you again for the $19.99. Now I see Demetrius with the 2. I see the white girl boosted her. Look at it. Wait, what are you talking about? Okay, what y'all talking about? Wait, you talking about in that one video where there was one video where I think she had a few other women who are with her. They were like out, like for a day at the beach or something. And so, okay, y'all. So here, here's my thought on this whole thing. I know the whole reason that she did this whole twerking thing is because she wanted to get a conversation started about women's rights and their bodies, their sexual autonomy, body autonomy, whatever. At the end of the day, my take is this. This is the kind of representation that continually has Black women looking a fool. I mean, it just is. Now, I understand the other side that says like, oh, we should be able to do whatever we want. We should be able to act however we want. Our femininity should be ours to express. I mean, even if you look at her videos and people are just like, look, you're disrespecting yourself. You are harming your image. You're harming the image of women, of Black people. Her clapback was, listen, you're basically closed-minded. You're too conservative. You're too outdated. You're too much of a traditionalist. And you're basically not as smart as I am because I have an Ivy League degree and I'm a senator. That's essentially the essence that I got from her responses. I don't have to listen to you because you do not have an Ivy League degree like I do, and you're not a senator. So I don't care what you have to say. You need to go sit down somewhere else. That was basically her response. But at the end of the day, whether or not you have an Ivy League degree, which technically I do. I mean, I went to a really good college. Okay, that doesn't mean I go around on Instagram, twerking upside down with a bikini on in the name of like freedom or autonomy or justice. Like I don't do that. But to me, I think the bigger issue is no matter how we see it, this stereotype about Black women already exists. It already exists. This has been a belief about who we are, our sexuality. This has been happening for like hundreds of years since essentially America was established. And so to me, it's always so contradictory when you have women, especially Black women, who are pushing themselves as progressive and pushing themselves as wanting to push for respect and wanting to literally, the last video she said, respect queer Black women. That's literally what you said. So to me, it's always so contradictory when in one aspect you're talking about wanting to be treated a different way and wanting to be respected in a different, unique way, and yet do behavior and engage in behavior that literally reinforces old stereotypes. The cold part about this is it's like this had to be a Black woman. It had to be a Black woman twerking upside down in a bikini as a senator. As a senator. And here's something else that I continue to notice just about Black women in particular, modern women in particular. It's like, why are we always trying to buck the system? Like, or that is to say, why are we always trying to, like, why does everything quote unquote traditional or everything quote unquote conservative have to be bad? I think just because something is conservative or something might be considered more traditional doesn't necessarily mean it has to be bad. Not everything bad or not everything traditional is in and of itself like outdated. And I feel like there's such a push sometimes to try to redefine that we're not even able to do just basic things correctly. Like we're not even able to operate in a way that's just like sensical. Again, to me, someone as a senator who is in a position of power, who is representing different constituents, representing different people, this is again my opinion, the expectation would be that, yeah, you're going to act and respond in a certain way. We all understand this. Kings and queens, y'all know Black women like going around calling themselves queens. Y'all know that. Anytime there is a king or a queen, anytime there's somebody in a position of power, there's usually a certain expectation of how they're going to act. For example, everybody's obsessed with the Queen of England. Everybody's obsessed with their family. You don't see them going around, like I said, in their bonnets or PJs. You don't see them going around twerking, doing nothing crazy like that. Like they act and they present themselves in a particular manner. They understand, okay, we represent these people, we represent this lineage, we represent this kingdom, and so therefore we have the responsibility to act in a way that is going to be respectful and act in a way that's going to ensure that we are not essentially undermining our empire, for lack of a better term. Now, whether or not you agree with them or disagree, I'm just saying there's that basic understanding of like, as a king, as a queen, as somebody in a position of power, I should not be acting like a quote unquote commoner because I have a higher responsibility to do so. So this is the issue that I have. That so often women who get in positions of power, or sometimes they'll get in positions where their influence, instead of using it as an opportunity to model respect, to model respectable behavior, to present yourself in a way that garners or earns respect, we just act ratchet and then say, oh, well, you're going to treat me wrong anyways. And we say, oh, well, you don't respect me anyway, so I'm just going to do what I want to do. And then we become the issue. And then now we're to blame because we're closed-minded. Now we're the issue because we're not willing to expand our minds enough to recognize that you should be able to present yourself however you want, dance in a sexual manner however you want, to whoever you want, wherever you want, and not think that it's going to be criticized. Like, to me, that just, again, to me, it seems really hypocritical, especially when there is an awareness that as a Black woman in America, she said this, when there's awareness that as a Black woman in America, where you already have this stereotype of being hypersexualized, if you already know that, then why are you now going to go engage in behavior that is going to reinforce that stereotype and then complain when you are judged based upon that stereotype? To me, that is what does not make any sense. And we cannot act that way. We cannot engage in behavior that you know is going to be considered ratchet. You know people are going to be calling you ratchet, going to be judging you based upon the hypersexuality. You can't do that. You can't act in that manner and then demand respect when you're not even willing to treat your body in a way that will be considered respect by normal standards. Like it just, to me, like I don't understand. So to me, it's like, this is why Black women are not taken seriously, because at the end of the day, whether you like it or don't like it, there are a code of ethics that everybody, every culture, every society abides by. Whether it's right or wrong, there are like ethics, there are standards, there are societal expectations. Like it or don't like it, there are. And as a senator or somebody has a position of power who is literally interfacing with other cultures, You were interfacing with other cultures and you were having a relationship with other cultures. You now have the responsibility to also act in a way that is not going to now marginalize you from those people. And like I said, in my opinion, twerking, acting in a hypersexual manner as a Black woman who already has these stereotype, who already has to contend with the stereotype of being hypersexualized by your nature, feeding into those stereotypes is not helping. It's not helping. Now, did she get people's attention? Absolutely. Are people going to talk about this? Absolutely. Will she have some people voting for her? Maybe she will. Maybe she will. But I'm saying at the end of the day, this is why nobody looks at Black women and says, "Oh yeah, you're respectable." Because if we defend this kind of behavior, if we defend the hypersexuality of our own bodies, if we defend that behavior, knowing that there's already a stereotype of it being hypersexualized, then we cannot complain when we are not treated as anything else other than sexual objects. We can't complain. We can't do it. We literally can't do it. When we know that there's a stereotype against us and then we feed into that stereotype, we cannot complain when things don't change. We cannot do it. We can't do it. And even the whole argument of just like, oh, well, they're not going to respect me anyways, so I might as well do whatever I want. And I have an Ivy League degree and I'm smart and I'm a senator, so who cares? To me personally, that just seems a little bit prideful. If I'm just being honest, it just seems a tad arrogant, where it's like my Ivy League degree essentially gives me the freedom to do whatever I want. And here's the thing: there are men in power. Yes, there are white men in power who most definitely act like that. They act like, you know what, because I'm this, because I'm born into this family, or I have this amount of wealth, therefore I get to do whatever I want to do, and I don't have to act like everybody else. Yes, we see that. We definitely see that, and people absolutely act like that. But unfortunately, as a Black woman, you don't necessarily have that same social clout, even as a Black female senator who went to an Ivy League college. If you believe you can act that way, and you're not going to be judged according to the lens, according to that racist lens that exists, like, then it's like, I don't know if I'm reality. I don't know if I'm reality here. Shout out to Raw with the 5 on the super chat. They said they're gonna find some way to blame Black men. Oh my gosh, Black men had nothing to do with this. She is a openly happy queer woman. Black men had nothing to do with this. So if they come up in the conversation, that'll be just yet again some more propaganda, because we didn't see near Black men anywhere in that video. If you actually look up some of her previous videos at the beach, it was her and a group of a couple of other women. One looked like she might have been mixed, maybe. The rest of them are white. So there was no man, let alone Black men in that scenario. So they should not be blamed at all for this. Shout out to Deanie with the 5 on the super chat. I see. She's definitely attention seeking. I don't think she represents the everyday Black woman or Black person, although I understand the instinct to generalize. No. She listen, smart woman. If her goal was to get attention, she did just that. If her goal was to get attention and to have this conversation, she did just that. Because if you go on her TikTok videos, you see where she's like, okay, now that you saw my twerking video, let's actually talk about policies. So she was smart to get people's attention, but I think what's not being understood, as far as I can tell, is just like, can you really expect people to take you seriously? Maybe younger demographics, people in the queer community, LGBTQ community, maybe that. And if there is a large population of those individuals in her state, I'm not familiar with Rhode Island, but I'm like, if that's how her state is like, then it's like, okay, maybe she's literally speaking for them. I don't know, but as far as I know, she is speaking for a very small community. But it's like, at the end of the day, if you're twerking, basically, like I said, in a bikini, upside down, and you're literally using curse words, and you're literally being hypersexualized, like, on purpose, and you call it I'm thirst trapping. If you're doing those things and you're not respected as maybe another woman or maybe another senator would be, who isn't doing that, who isn't, posting themselves like half nude, who isn't acting in that sexual manner up front, like, you can't blame that on being Black. You can't even blame that on being queer. That's just like, honey, like, there has to be There are just code of ethics. There's just behavior that that whether you are straight or gay, man and woman, like if you engage in that behavior, you're going to be judged, and that has nothing to do with racism. It has nothing to do with your sexuality. It has nothing to do with your age. It just has to do with the fact that like that's just flat out. A lot of people won't see it as ratchet. I hate to break it to you. So, and I understand. Here's the thing about it: like there are going to be a lot of women out here who completely identify with her, completely identify with like, look, we need to constantly be willing to change and remove all of these traditional or conservative or moral or whatever standards. We need to change them, and there needs to be a space where people can openly and freely express their sexuality and it not be judged. There are a lot of women who feel that. There's a lot of feminists who feel that. I mean, a lot of what she said to me was very much in line with, modern feminist ideology, radical feminist ideology. So it's like, yeah, for all intents and purposes, she's a feminist, and this is consistent with feminist ideology. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, just don't be surprised when you're not taken seriously, because at the end of the day, I don't see Chinese women going up and doing this. I don't see any woman going up and doing this. I don't really see Jewish women going up. And that's not to say I don't act ratchet. I'm sure everybody in every culture, you're going to have people who act ratchet. But we don't see them getting in positions of power and specifically acting in ways that reinforce old stereotypes and then defending it. And then defending it. That's what I'm saying. It's like I don't see it happening. Not to say that there's not, like I said, Asian women behind closed doors or Indian women behind closed doors, Middle Eastern, Latina women. Like, I'm sure they all have their own. Women can be ratchet if they want to. It don't matter their ethnicity. But what we don't see in their culture is women getting in positions of power and then consciously reinforcing old stereotypes and then defending it. But unfortunately, Black women, we do this, and then we don't understand why we have to say, oh, listen to Black women. Like, we're confused that we have sayings, we have hashtags that say, listen to Black women. Like we have to fight for that. Hashtags that say protect Black women. Like, we're confused. Like, we don't see a connection between how we present ourselves and then how the way that we are treated. Because if you already know that you're in a racist society, if you already accept that there are aspects of the society that still very much move based upon class and race and all those different things, if you already accept that, then you have got to move according to it. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying it's right. But an Ivy League degree, and even being a senator, that does not remove you from the same scrutiny that your average Black woman would get if she did that. And that's the thing. I think sometimes too, as women, we think that just because maybe we're in certain environments, maybe because we have certain degrees or we've experienced certain privileges, that means that we're not going to be seen through the lens of race. And that's not true. And she even said that. She's like, oh, respect queer Black women. It's like, okay, but are you respecting yourself? Are you respecting yourself? And my personal opinion is no. This is not the kind of behavior that you engage in if you do want to be seen as a respectable person that has a mind. How are we leading with our sexuality? How are we constantly leading with our big booties or our voluptuous bodies or our side, our sexual preferences, our sexuality? How are we constantly leading with that and then complaining about the fact that we're not being seen as a whole individual when all we lead with is our sexuality? And she, when she mentioned, previously that she had entered some bill that was, I guess, about trying to introduce more culturally relevant, pleasurable based sex ed. Like, that's the bill that she introduced. Now, I don't know much about her history. I don't know what other bills that she's introduced. So, I don't want to be one to jump to conclusions, but I'm like, to me, just based upon that, all the things that we have going on, all the things to stress about, all the things that are plaguing and impacting Americans of all backgrounds, we're really focusing on what kids are being taught about sex, like K through 5, K through 12. That's like really what we're focusing on. Like, there aren't other more important matters, but that's just, maybe I'm weird. Maybe I'm weird. Yeah, she introduced a sex bill. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? So you are a Black woman who gets online on purpose, for lack of a better term, half naked, twerking upside down, yelling profanities about your body, saying that you are thirst trapping, you introduce a sex bill, and then you say that you want respect. How does that make sense? And then when you're caught on it, when you're just like, hey, this is not helping, when you're caught on it, then the people who call you on it, they're traditionalists, they're alt-right, they are too conservative, they're too close-minded. Quite frankly, they don't have an Ivy League degree, so they're not as smart. They're beneath her. Quite frankly, they're beneath her because you don't have an Ivy League degree. You didn't go to school like her. You're not a senator, so you're beneath her. So you don't have the right to criticize her. You don't. And that's the thing about it. I think, unfortunately, as Black women, like I said, whether we have an Ivy League degree or not, like I said, I went to an Ivy League school. Okay, great. And like I said, if I was to go online today, half naked and twerk, no one's going to look at me and say, she went to an Ivy League school. Oh, okay. Oh, she's in this nice community. Oh, okay. No, they're not going to say that. They're going to look at me through the racialized lens that already exists. And no amount of education is going to change that. And I think that's the sad thing too, that Black women sometimes have to reckon with, that no amount of education and no amount of schooling or even position is going to remove you from the racialized lens. It's not. Now, the best thing you can do is, treat yourself in a way that is going to be respectable, actually build communities and work with men to build systems and build communities and build things that would actually empower you, so you don't have to try to spend so much time trying to work against the system that you think is against you. Like, I mean, there's more productive ways to act. But like I said, no amount of education is going to keep you from being seen through that racialized lens. And we cannot complain about being judged based upon old stereotypes and then reinforce them and then defend the very behavior that is seen as stereotypical. It does not make sense. Shout out to Weston KC with the $4.99 on the super chat. I see. It's like the whole world know why Black woman is the most disrespected but them. Right. That part. That's the cold part. Like I said, it is only us that I see getting sometimes in positions of power or positions of influence and then acting a fool, doing the very things that reinforce old stereotypes and then defending it. Not being like, oh man, you're right. I didn't think about that. Not even showing any ounce of humility or any ounce of, okay, maybe I should consider this. No, defending it. Digging our heels deep in the ground and defending the very behavior that reinforces the stereotypes that we say oppress us. And then having the nerve to ask for respect, having the nerve to say, listen to Black women, protect us, do all these things. And then we act in a way that makes us look like a fool. We really do. And we think it's really cutting edge. And to me, it's sad. To me, the thing about it is just like, it would have to be a Black woman who is representing, she's representing a community that's not necessarily just Black women. Like I said, a lot of her thoughts are very much consistent with the feminist ideology, but it always has to be the Black woman. It always has to be the Black woman that's the mascot. Why is the Black woman always a mascot? Why are they always a mascot of the sexual liberation, of the sexual movement, of hypersexuality? Why is it always them? Why is it always them? And we sign up for it sometimes thinking that we're doing things that are progressive. And then we are upset or we're confused when we're judged based upon that lens. And yeah, like I said, we can throw education around. We can throw our Ivy League education. We can throw our job. Maybe if we are, so lucky enough to have good money, we can throw that around. But that doesn't change the way that we're going to be seen. And like I said, if we don't treat ourselves any better, then I don't know. Shout out to IBM Maverick with the 10. Black women had the example of Michelle Obama for 8 years, and they chose, oh God, that's my job right there. You're absolutely right. They had the example of Michelle Obama for 8 years. Whether or not you agree or disagree, with the politics, whether or not you agree or disagree with Obama. Nevertheless, I think we can all agree that she was an incredibly classy woman who presented herself with respect and who acted according to her position, and tried to do things that are detrimental. Like, didn't she try to roll that policy to get healthier food within schools as a way to try to address the obesity problem that disproportionately affects the Black community? So it's like she was doing things that were really proactive and trying to get involved, and she wasn't going out there getting called a fool. Yeah, and even with that, even with her acting in a way that was classy, yeah, she was still judged. She still did get racist remarks. But at least when she got those racist remarks, we could clearly identify, okay, those people are racist. Those people are bigoted. She didn't give them a reason. She didn't give them a reason to say it. They did it out of their own volition. So they were telling on themselves. Unfortunately, as women, like I said, when we go out acting like this, as Black, when we go out acting like this, living old stereotypes, then it's like we can't even be mad when people judge us, because it's like we're giving them a reason to. My opinion. Shout out to PhD Music 03. So show Dems this filth will not be tolerated. I know this time right now also is very polarizing. Democrats and Republicans are at each other's neck. So I am not trying to polarize anybody. You guys all have the right to your own political views or beliefs. My focus today is to look at, quite literally, why Black women aren't taken seriously. And if you mean to tell me that you see this video, and it's not obvious to you why we continue to not be taken seriously, then I don't know what to tell you. We can just agree to disagree. But to me, this is pretty freaking obvious. Like I said, we don't see no other group of women going out here reinforcing old stereotypes, portraying themselves as hypersexualized, and then defending it when they're called on it. We don't see that. Now, was she, mission accomplished for her as far as getting eyeballs and getting attention and getting people looking at what she's about and looking at what she's doing? Mission definitely accomplished. So hand clap for her there. Hand clap for her there, I guess. But apart from that, we can't talk about respect. We can't talk about being seen differently. We can't talk about being seen as a whole individual and not being seen as just some sexual object. We can't talk about doing that when we decide to behave in a manner that is just downright ratchet. I don't know how else to put it. And listen, I don't have anything wrong with a woman twerking. If a woman wants to twerk, that's fine. To me, I think it's all about location and it's all about environment. If you're with your husband, you're, you and him or whatever in a private space doing your thing, I'm not tripping. But I'm like, why is this become like, why is twerking like almost synonymous with Black female behavior? Like if I see one more twerking viral video, I'm like, can we not be known as something else? Can we not be known as something else? It's so tired to me. I'm like, we all know you have big butts. Okay, we know this. We all know you have rhythm. This is not surprising. This is not a new discovery. Everybody knows this. Can we not be known as something different than just twerking and having nice bodies and big butts and being hypersexualized? Like, can we not move for something better? Oh, it's like, my God, it's so annoying to me. Honestly, it's so annoying to me. And like I said, the hardest thing for me, because listen, nobody does anything perfect. Hindsight is 2020. We're gonna all have times in our life where we can look back on how we were, or maybe how we used to think, what we used to do, and be like, man, I should have done better. I could have done better. That's called being a human being. That's called evolving. So, like I said, that's just a part of life. But to me, there's nothing worse than somebody who is acting foolish and then prideful. If you're acting foolish, but you're humble, or you're willing to engage and have a conversation and say, okay, like maybe let me consider that, I can rock with you. Okay. But if you're acting foolish, but then you are prideful about it and you refuse to acknowledge it, to me, there's nothing worse. That's one of the worst. It's one of the worst things to be a stubborn fool. Being a stubborn fool is like a curse. Like, we should always stay open. We should always be willing to engage and say, okay, let me look at myself honestly and say, where can I improve? Where can I do better? But to me, it's really detrimental when we are sometimes so We're stubborn. We're stubborn in the very things that harm us. Very detrimental. I see Majestic 42 with a 10 on the super chat. It says, Shahrazad Ali, the most difficult job we have is to protect children from premature sexual arousal because society is so swamped with sexual innuendo, sexual suggestion, sexual picture activities. Bingo. Bingo. This is why. This to me is why I take issue with the fact that there is such an agenda to try to push sexual concepts and sexual identity and sexual orientation on young kids who can't even freaking spell sex. Half of them can't even spell it. They haven't even learned the ABCs, and we're trying to push these concepts on them. I take issue with that. I have some of my friends, and some of this could be just something we're seeing more in California, where you know, depending upon where you go, it's better or worse. But I mean, I literally have friends of mine who have decided to homeschool because they're like, I don't want my child at the age of 5, the age of 6, to be learning any sexual concepts. Like, I don't want that. And you have some out there who are really, really, really pushing for that. And I'm just like, look, it's one thing to want to explore sexual ideas and concepts and identities. It's one thing to want to do that. And then it's another thing to try to force it on innocent kids. When I was coming up, like I don't even think we had that conversation until like maybe 6th or 7th grade. And it was like bare minimum. It was like strictly scientific. There was no need to try to talk about different positions and to talk about pleasure points and to talk about, all these different that wasn't happening. Like, it was a very scientific conversation. So to me, I take issue with the fact that there is a big push to try to sexualize young kids. It's like, keep them as innocent for as long as possible, because when the Pandora's box is open, it's open, never to be shut again. And so I do take issue with that for sure. So, like I said, everybody's gonna have their opinion on this. She shared her perspective, and so I applaud her for sharing her perspective. I disagree largely with what she is saying, and I disagree largely with her take on it. I can agree to disagree, but I will say this: that my personal opinion is that this kind of behavior, again, is why Black women are not taken seriously. We're just not. And we can cry about it. We can try to blame it on the white supremacy or the patriarchy, or Black men don't build, or is it the Black man's fault because he's trying to be a patriarch, or because the society doesn't respect big bodies or too small bodies. Like, whatever. We can blame it on whatever we want. We can absolutely do that. But at the end of the day, if we ourselves act foolish, then we're not helping ourselves. Or if we act in a way that is hypersexualized, like specifically, and like I said, this wasn't like, okay, I'm confident in my sexuality. This was like obvious. Like I said, you're twerking. You got like a thong on. You're upside down. You are yelling profanities about your sexual body, and then you're saying a thirst trap. So like I said, this was incredibly scripted. This was on purpose. This was not like maybe I didn't know this could be considered hypersexual. No, this was on purpose. So you specifically go and represent yourself in a way that's sexualized. Okay, fine. But again, when we're judged based upon old stereotypes, and when we are just seen as just yet another Black woman, just another one of the Black women, and when we're perceived like that, we cannot be surprised. It does not matter if we are a senator. It does not matter if we have an Ivy League degree. I mean, not to say she may remain in office or she may not. Okay. But I'm just saying, is she going to have to now always contend with those stereotypes? Probably. Because as the user earlier said, if Michelle Obama was as classy as she acted, whether you agree with the policies or not, with the classy way that she presented herself, if she herself had to contend with some of those stereotypes, how much more are you, who is feeding into them? And that's the cold part about it. And that's what I think sometimes Black women don't want to accept, that no amount of degree, no amount of, trying to hang around white girls, trying to dye your hair, trying to divest, none of that is ever going to change the racialized lens that exists. That's not to say that you can't do better. It's not to say that you can't still live a fulfilling life. It's not to say that you can't, navigate it, but you got to be aware of it. You got to be aware of it. And like I said, unfortunately, here we go. Yet again, my humble opinion, another scenario of just a Black woman doing what a Black woman does. And this is the way the society sees us. So y'all, that's what I got. That's what I got on it. I see some comments in here. Yes, that I work with women who have masters that twerk at the company holiday party in front of the CEO's parents. Education doesn't equal intelligence and class. Bingo. It does not. It does not. Education does not equal intelligence and class. See, and that is the thing about it too. I think people don't necessarily understand. And this is I think partially why Kevin Samuels came under so much steam, because what he was talking about wasn't necessarily just. It wasn't just about looks. I mean, we know that's a big component of for men. Men are visual. But it wasn't just that. It was the etiquette. It's like the silent, it's almost like the silent expectations that come as you move within social classes, as you move within certain spaces. And to your point, education doesn't teach you about that. Education doesn't teach you, okay, how do I now present myself when I am, I don't know, at a country club or I'm at a golf club? How do I act there versus when I'm at like the cookout? You know what I mean? Or how do I act when I'm now going into this the dinner party with people who are 60 plus. It's all white dinner party or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, education doesn't necessarily prepare you for that. You know what I mean? Learning how to navigate into different social spaces. That's stuff you just pick up over time. Hopefully, as you're open to learning and open to engaging and open to recognizing how different cultures and just how different scenarios operate. But sometimes there are some of us who feel like I should be able to act and do whatever I want, however and whenever. And if you try to stop me, then the problem is you. The issue is you. You're the one that's closed-minded. You are the one that is bigoted. You are the one that is too traditional. You're the one that is just too close-minded. Not recognizing that whether or not you see it that way, people around you have already decided. Because other cultures, other strong cultures, they already have those systems in place. They already have that code of ethics, if you will. They already have it. And they kind of know how to present themselves. Even if they are doing that righteous stuff behind closed doors, they know how to present themselves in the public space when they're around other races and other ethnicities. They know how to present themselves in a way that keeps that baseline of respect. Just my opinion. So, y'all, like I said, here's yet another scenario of a Black woman doing what a Black woman does. And I hate it. I hate to say it. I hate this is how we're represented. I really do. And listen, I wish and hope for the time where Black women could be seen as full women, worthy of integrity and love and decency, and perceived as women who have value and who have class and who have dignity and who have all of these things. I hope for that time. I do. But if that's something that we want, then there has to be an honest expectation of the different things that we could do that could undermine that. And this isn't it. And like I said, if we continue to defend this kind of behavior, or if we act like this is normal, then nothing will change. Why? Because we are living in a society that's highly racialized. Why? Because we are perceived through a racialized lens. So that when we act in that manner, we reinforce old stereotypes that many people may have, but just may not actually say outwardly, but behind closed doors, or when they vote, or when they see you, or when they whatever, that's what they're thinking. So that's just my thought. That's just my thought. And I said, if it wasn't for good stuff, trust me, there's women out here who are not trying to be crazy, or who are not trying to they're not trying to redefine everything all the time. Like, just me personally, I think sometimes trying to redefine everything is exhausting. Like, literally exhausting. Like, sometimes having a sense of structure, or having a sense of right, wrong, this is what's acceptable, this is not acceptable. like, I think there's safety in that, because if you're every 15 seconds trying to redefine what is, what isn't, what should be, what shouldn't be, if everything is up for interpretation all the time, that's exhausting. And that at a certain point, that can become chaotic. Because if everybody is to exist based upon a different standard, then who determines what's right or wrong? So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that every single thing needs to be constantly changed all the time. Like, but that's a whole nother conversation. So, anyways, I mean, this was interesting. I appreciate all of y'all who've been here hanging out with me. Let me know what you think down in the comments section for sure. Oh, I'm seeing this one comment from Deanie. It says, crazy as it is, she is still Senator Mack. Black women are more politically active, and this won't change any of that. We need more Black men to get active. Good point. Well, and that's what she's saying. She's like, listen, people are still going to vote for me, and they are. I'm sure some will. Now, I don't know if this is going to drastically, make it worse or better for her. I don't know. I'm just speaking more of the optics. I'm speaking more to the fact that even if this Black woman in position of power still does stay, that's fine. Black women as a whole, the Black community, as you put it, this is why no one's taking us seriously. This is why no one's taking Black women seriously, because even if she does remain in a position of power, people are already looking at us just like, oh, okay, there's that Black woman. Most people are okay with a token. Even racist, bigoted people are okay with that one token. They're okay with that token, so that they can say, oh, see, I'm not racist. See, I have that one friend. Oh, I have a Black gardener. Oh, well, I have a Black person who cuts my hair. So most people are okay with a token here or there. But does that mean that they're going to receive you as their equals? Does that mean that they want you to be in their inner circle? Does that mean that they respect you or will really hear you? Not necessarily. And so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you said this is on her and everything. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying too. It is interesting how we can get great educations and we can have privileges. Like it can be a privilege to go to school and to finish. Many people go to school and start and they can't finish, or they're in so much debt that they have to end, or life happens. So like, it is a blessing. It is a privilege to be able to finish if that's the route that you want to go. But I don't think that should be a reason for you to not see yourself as above standards or above standards of social standards, whatever. Y'all, like I said, that's just my opinion. But anyways, y'all, again, I appreciate you guys for being here. Stay tuned for other upcoming content. I think I'm supposed to be going live tomorrow about an interesting topic regarding Cynthia G and her recent takes on Christianity and why she got out of it, whether it's, it failed her, worked for her, all that. So stay tuned, y'all. It should be good. Also, if you haven't already, hit that like button. Share this with someone that you think might find it interesting. And you can find me on Cash App or Venmo. Shay as always, support your favorite content creators. And yeah, I think that's what I got for today. So we'll talk later. Bye, guys.